Have you ever heard about the other 93%? Now, most people, when they're talking about speaking, they talk about the 7%. 7% of our words actually make up the entire human language, because the other 93% is all about other stuff, like the way we sound, the way we use our intonation, our intention, our emotion, the inflections in our voice, the prosody, and of course our body language and our facial expressions. Now, all of that is what I help you with as a holistic voice coach and the voice mastery mentor. I help people get on camera and on stage and really master that other 93%. So today I want to talk about how your voice can sometimes get in the way of the message. Because let's face it, it's all about the message. Number one is breathing. If you are chest breathing and taking those shallow, snatchy breaths, is going to do a few things to your physiology. Number one, it's going to allow you to take only a very short, shallow breath, which is not going to allow you to take a big enough breath to have a long sentence and be able to really express yourself really well when you're public speaking, because then you're going to feel a bit short of breath. And a lot of my students come to me and they say in their intake sheet that they experience short of breath. Now that's usually because fight or flight kicks in, and they're chest breathing. They're not getting enough air in the first place. So you really have to learn good breathing skills. But the second way it can affect you, the bad breathing technique, is that we don't get enough oxygen to the brain. You really have to focus on these things when you're on stage or on camera, because you need the oxygen to be able to think and speak clearly. And of course, you need the oxygen to be able to work your vocal folds and project your sound forward. Now, another way that your voice can get in the way of the message, if you keep rambling and making really long sentences, and I call that monkey mind to verbal diarrhea, then you won't be able to get to the point. And this is really important when you're public speaking, that rambling, going off and like, etc. People lose focus and they don't know what you're talking about. You never get to the end of the sentence. So you really need to focus on what you want to say and keep the sentences short and succinct. So take a breath. Let's do number one. Take a nice deep breath with the diaphragm, and we're going to start constructing short sentences. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in a way that your voice can get in the way of the message is pitch. And pitch is completely different to volume, and a lot of people get this confused. They think that if I'm going to raise my pitch, I'm going to also raise my volume. That's not necessary. We can speak from the bottom of our range all the way to the top in a quite even fashion without actually yelling, and we can use a lot of different range for public speaking. Now, if you have a little bit of a mindset of, I'm a bit afraid, I'm afraid of speaking out, I'm afraid of speaking up, then you might have some weird stuff going on here vocally that's putting you in the wrong pitch. If you're speaking down here too low, it's going to get caught in the throat like this, and it's going to be back placed. And you can hear that now the sound is quite noisy and a bit caught and a bit tight, and it's very hard to be understood or project your sound when you're in that space. A great example of a beautifully balanced low-pitched voice is Morgan Freeman, the voice of God. He has this beautiful, rich, round resonance voice that's also very low and relaxed. So we're talking about lack of tension here, not necessarily the pitch. So if you want to go low, that's fine. It sounds like the voice of authority, but make sure you go low with no tension, because it sounds better, it sounds freer, there's no noise, and it's much easier for your audience to understand. Now, the opposite to that, of course, is choosing too high a pitch. So if you're really like in La La Land up here, and some ladies tend to speak a little bit high pitch, or a little bit squeaky, like that. So if your pitch is high again with tension, or high, a little unstable with too much air, that's also going to get in the way of the message. So what I really like to focus on as a holistic voice coach is to make sure that your mental, physical, and emotional blockages to self-expression have been taken care of, that you've broken through all of those by doing the proper voice work exercises and helping you stand out there with confidence. And remember that our voice needs to be relaxed at all time, whether it's high pitch or low pitch, relaxed is the way to go.